3 months. That's how long I've been skillfully navigating my landlady's increasingly intense messages about rent. 4 months. I found myself torn between the essentials of life and the comfort of a home, with the essentials always taking a backseat. I'm Sage. I'm an aspiring mural artist facing challenges. And at this moment, I'm gazing at yet another furious message from a Cain. The enigmatic, a mysterious woman who possesses the keys to my building, yet remains an enigma, never revealing her presence. It's been 3 months since I last paid my rent, and today marks a new beginning. All of it. The sudden knock on my door sends a jolt through me, stirring a mix of anticipation and anxiety. I understand, know exactly who it is before I even glance through the peephole. But the figure in my hallway isn't what I anticipated. She stands tall and graceful, her hair touched with silver, and her gaze feels like it can pierce right into my soul. Armesia Cain is simply breathtaking. We must talk about your situation, she says, stepping into my space uninvited. Her eyes brushes against my paint-splattered clothes, my canvases adorning every surface, the bills strewn across my floor. I prepare myself for the eviction notice, marking the conclusion of the only place I've ever really felt at home. Instead, she studies my creations with heartfelt curiosity. You possess a remarkable gift, she whispers, then shifts her intense gaze. Her gray eyes met mine once more. I have an idea to share. I gather pieces of art, and I'm in search of a model for a personal project. Regular gatherings in my chic penthouse studio. The burdens fade away, and your home remains yours. The proposal seems almost unreal, yet a sense of urgency compels the choice for me. What I don't understand is that saying yes to model for my attractive landlady will transform everything between us in ways I never anticipated. Before we dive into this tale, prepare yourself. Get set, and stay tuned for an exciting reveal tomorrow. The color beneath my nails has become an enduring presence, marking my hands in hues of deep cerulean and warm burnt tones, stain that no effort can erase. I flex my fingers and observe the dried acrylic fissure along my knuckles as I gaze at the pile of overdue bills scattered across my hardwood floor, a tangible reminder of the weight of my circumstances. 3 months. That's how long I've been navigating this thrilling and precarious dance of financial Jenga, shifting funds from one cost to support one another, wishing the entire foundation remained strong. My phone vibrates softly against the paint-splattered surface of my improvised workspace, and I already know what awaits me. Another message from my landlady, whose texts have transformed from gentle nudges to subtle warnings over the past 12 weeks. I can sense the words without glancing at the screen, yet I find myself drawn to it, much like the urge to touch a tender spot, to discover if it remains. It aches. Last reminder, settle your dues promptly or prepare for the consequences of eviction. The phrases blur together as I set the phone down, my hands trembling slightly from too much coffee and not enough sustenance. My stomach grumbles in discontent, a reminder that I prioritize creativity over sustenance. Once more this week, the half-empty jar of peanut butter in my kitchen cabinet serves as a testament to my dubious decisions of the heart. I glance once more at my newest creation waiting for me, a vibrant blend of hues that reflects the turmoil within my heart. The mural portrays a woman liberating herself from chains glimmering with wealth, her hair flowing behind her like a fiery cascade. It's intense, heartfelt, and utterly unwanted in the present landscape. My art professor might have deemed it a bit too self-indulgent. My finances are speaking up. Unworthy. The contradiction is not lost on me as I craft a narrative about liberation while feeling weighed down by obligations. However, this small studio apartment embodies the first space I've genuinely embraced as my own. Growing up in the care system taught, stability is often seen as a privilege that many overlook. Every wall in this space whispers secrets of my heart. Every corner holds a moment of discovering my true self. Another notification chimed from my phone. This moment feels different. A sudden ring from a mysterious caller. My finger lingers above the decline button. Yet, there's a hesitation that holds me back. Perhaps it's longing, or perhaps it's the naive longing that someone desires to embrace my creations. I pick up on the fourth ring, Sage Delicata. My voice resonates with a strength that belies my true feelings. Miss Delicate, this is Artemisia Cain. I think it's time we talk about where you're living. The voice is refined and elegant, with a sharpness that implies she's familiar with being pushed aside. I've never listened to her voice. Previously, we only communicated through a series of increasingly charged messages regarding my growing financial struggles. In my thoughts, I've envisioned her as a fierce force in this corporate world, unleashing flames through contracts and notices of eviction. I see that you are falling behind on rent. She presses on even when my silence lingers. I'm on it, I say, stealing a look at the overdue bills strewn about my feet. Times have been challenging, but I promise to have something special for you shortly. I have no doubt you will. I'll be at your place in 20 minutes to go over the details. The connection cuts off before I can voice my objections. 20 minutes. I glance around, my space with renewed perspective, envisioning it through her gaze. Canvases rest against every accessible wall space, some completed, while others left in the midst of their unfolding journey. Colors and creativity spill across my coffee table, while my easel stands proudly in the heart of the room, protecting my newest creation. I attempt to establish a sense of organization, shoving papers into a drawer and cleaning surfaces with a rag marked by splashes of paint. But there's no concealing the essence of this place, or who I am. The scent of turpentine and acrylic paint has permeated the walls, claiming this space as undeniably my own. The knock arrives precisely 20 minutes later. Firm and commanding. With a deep breath, I push the door open, ready to encounter the woman who has the power to shape my destiny. She's completely different from me. Anticipated. ARTM Isaiah Kane stands in my doorway with an air of confidence, as if she owns the entire building, which technically she does, but her presence envelops the space in a way that transcends mere ownership. She stands tall, around 5'8", her dark hair gracefully transitioning to silver at the temples. Her gray eyes glimmer with intensity, thoughtful, and presently observing me with the same focus I apply when contemplating a canvas before creating the initial touch of color. She's dressed in a sleek black blazer paired with dark jeans, sophisticated yet understated, and she carries herself with an air of confidence, the assurance of a person who has always embraced her identity without question. I'm suddenly aware of my paint-stained hands, the fabric draping over me, my wild locks cascading down, the image I must present amidst the chaos of my living space. Miss Della Croa, she reaches out her hand, and I observe her fingers, long and graceful, with neatly trimmed nails that seem untouched by the wear of hard work. May I enter? It's more of a statement. She glides into my apartment, her presence filling the space with an electric tension. I catch a hint of her perfume, something luxurious and understated that feels perfectly suited for elegant spaces and sophisticated gatherings. Beginnings. She glides through my world with a gentle grace, her eyes absorbing every nuance, each canvas, each surface adorned with my vibrant expression. You possess a remarkable gift. She pauses, her gaze fixed on my most recent creation. Her voice has softened, now carrying a warmth that might express heartfelt gratitude. This is truly exceptional craftsmanship. I blink, taken aback by the unexpected praise. Thank you so much. She moves gracefully around my apartment, stopping to admire a collection of smaller canvases I've been pouring my heart into. They hold a deeper connection, deeply personal moments, capturing the essence of women in different phases of openness and resilience. Her gaze remains fixed on a single figure, especially a figure stands with her back to us, gazing out at a sprawling city that seems to go on forever. Extend. How long have you been painting? She inquires, her gaze fixed intently on the canvas. Ever since my childhood. It's the only thing I've ever been good at. She turns to face me then, and I'm captivated by the way her expression shifts, revealing a depth I hadn't noticed before, the formidable landlady I've envisioned. There's a certain fragility in her gaze, swiftly concealed yet still lingering, somewhat concealed. But skill won't cover the bills, she goes on, her facade of professionalism intact, slipping back into position. And you're 3 months late. My heart sinks. Here it is, arrives, the eviction notice, the closing chapter of my refuge, the heartache of losing my sole haven. I've ever known, I can get you the money. I begin, but she raises a hand to silence me. How is it possible? The straightforward inquiry lingers in the space that separates us. We both understand that I can't respond to that. To be truthful, I lack the funds. I don't see any possibilities for obtaining it, and my creations aren't moving quickly enough to support my essential costs, much less manage overdue rent. I had a feeling, she replies, when I choose to hold my tongue. However, I have an intriguing suggestion that could capture your attention. Hold on, hesitant to rely on my own words. I gather pieces of art, she adds, stepping closer. My canvas. I have a personal collection that I continuously grow and cherish. I also commission original works from time to time. Moment, a spark ignites within me. Are you looking to purchase something? Not quite. Her faces me completely, and there's a spark in her gaze that sends my heart racing. I require a template for its all. Exclusive request. Someone who appreciates beauty, who can embody a moment, who possesses the perfect vibe for what I'm crafting. I gaze at her, attempting to understand what she's proposing. Are you asking me to be your model? She mentions weekly sessions, her voice adopting a professional demeanor. In my studio, I have a penthouse with ideal illumination, high-quality gear. It would be an intimate experience, just the two of us together. In return, your obligation would find redemption and you might remain in your home. The proposal catches me off guard. leaving me momentarily speechless. Modeling isn't a path I've ever thought about, but the other option is risking everything I've built up. What type of modeling are you referring to? I inquire, taken aback by the calmness in my tone. Creative explorations, nothing out of line or manipulative. I'm intrigued in the way light dances upon skin, in form, in conveying passion and connection through stillness. She presents it with a detached precision, professional, yet her gaze holds a promise that hints this arrangement could lead to something far more intimate. Straightforward, I suppose I should take some time to reflect on it. Naturally, she glides toward the door, then hesitates. But I must say that this invitation is only valid until I step out of this place. I don't create the same, offered twice. The warning is conveyed with grace, yet its intent is clear. This is my moment, my sole opportunity to protect my sanctuary and my creativity. I scan my surroundings, my apartment, filled with canvases that embody years of dedication, a space that has transformed into my personal haven. I believe about the foster homes where I always felt like an outsider, the fleeting spaces that never embraced me as one of their own. I often find myself reflecting on beginning anew in a different place, a more intimate setting, one that lacks space for my creativity or my aspirations. What do the sessions entail? You would take your place as I guide you. I would create, illustrate. At times, it can be expressed through different forms. The meetings would extend for 2 to 3 hours each week. I would offer snacks, and you would receive additional compensation for your time beyond the rent forgiveness. How will that be compensated? I'm considering $500 for each meeting along with settling your obligations. The figure leaves me utterly speechless. $500 exceeds my earnings. 1 month has passed since my art sales. It's more than just getting by. It's about truly nourishing oneself with good food, to find a new companion for my tired heart. Brushes. To exist authentically rather than conforming to the stereotype of a tormented creator. When will we begin? This Saturday. 2. I'll share the location with you. She is approaching the entrance once more, and I understand that this is the moment, the decision that will transform everything. I can either let her slip away and confront the looming threat of eviction, or I can embrace the unknown with this captivating stranger who, against all odds, recognizes my worth within my craft and within myself. Hold on, I call out as her hand moves toward the doorknob. She glances over her shoulder, a playful eyebrow arched in curiosity. I embrace this decision. The phrases arrive, out before I can doubt myself. Her smile blooms, slow and content, an emotion that sends my pulse quickening, stirring feelings. I prefer not to analyze too deeply. Wonderful. She retreats, reaching out to me, her hand outstretched. Shall we seal this with a promise? I grasp her hand, and her fingers entwine with mine, radiating an unexpected warmth. Her skin is smooth, a testament to her self-care, yet her hold is strong, assured. We stand there for a moment longer than necessary, her gray eyes holding mine, and I feel like I'm being seen in a way that goes beyond the surface, something that eludes my comprehension. I'll see you Saturday. Sage, she says, my name flowing from her lips in a way that makes my heart race. Put on something easy to move around in. She lets go of my hand and walks towards the door, leaving me in my apartment, surrounded by the fading aroma of her perfume, and the gravity of my decision settles in, with the door softly shutting behind her. I come to understand. I can't quite grasp what I've stepped into. Yet, for the first time in 3 months, I feel a sense of courage about what I have to lose. Home. Instead, I'm filled with a mix of excitement and fear about what revelations might await me in Artemisia Kine's private studio. Saturday arrives, with an unexpected warmth for October, and I find myself standing in front of a shimmering skyscraper nestled in the priciest section of the city. The location Artemisia sent me points to a doorman, who nods with understanding when I speak her name, as if stunning women showing up for enigmatic meetings is a common occurrence. Experience in her world. The elevator ride to the penthouse stretches on forever. My reflection multiplied in the mirrored walls until I'm enveloped by anxious versions of myself. I've opted for a straightforward sundress, something I can move in as she requested. But now I'm second-guessing everything about my appearance. My hands still hold remnants of color no matter how hard I scrub. And my hair just won't listen. Even after an hour of trying to embrace it, the elevator doors slide open to reveal her apartment, and I enter a realm that leaves me in awe. Away, floor-to-ceiling windows embrace 3 walls, revealing a breathtaking panorama, the city that stretches endlessly before them. The late afternoon sun filters through the glass, enveloping everything in golden light that seems to make the very air shimmer. But it's not the view that captures my attention. It's the connection. Every wall showcases thoughtfully selected pieces that reflect a rich tapestry of time and artistry. Spot a handful of well-known figures, artworks I've only encountered in textbooks displayed nonchalantly as if they're part of daily life. Ornaments, art pieces grace the corners and stands, crafting spaces for dialogue that seamlessly connect within the expansive layout. Quite captivating. Wouldn't you agree? Artemisia's tone approaches from behind, and I glance back to see her observing my response with clear delight. Her attire is more laid back than when she came to my place, dressed in a flowing white blouse and dark slacks that somehow managed to look both comfortable and elegant. It's incredible. I managed, still absorbing the beauty of her collection. Some of these treasures must hold immense value. Wealth becomes insignificant when the essence of beauty is being cherished for generations to come. Generations, she says, stepping closer to me as we gaze at a painting that seems to hold an air of authenticity. Monet, I like to see myself as a fleeting protector rather than a possessor. She motions toward a doorway that had escaped my attention until now. This way leads to the studio. If I believed the main living area was remarkable, the studio truly takes my breath away. The space holds an undeniable energy, encompass the whole north side of the penthouse, featuring windows that allow for an abundance of soft, natural light, free from any harsh glare. The piercing brightness of the midday sun, professional lighting equipment dangles from tracks on the ceiling, currently shrouded in dimness, but poised for the moment to shine. To enhance the light as desired, canvas stands of different dimensions are arranged around the area, some embracing completed artworks, while some remain untouched and anticipating inspiration. A lengthy table stretches out along the wall, adorned with art supplies that seem untouched and waiting for inspiration. Everything is arranged with the meticulousness of an individual deeply committed to their art. This is where I find my passion, she says, and there's an undeniable feeling that lingers, soft and open in her tone. Company is a rare delight in this space. I navigate through the space gradually, captivated by the artworks that are hidden from sight. Can I take a peek? She pauses briefly, then gives a small nod. Absolutely. I flip the first canvas. I turn and discover a captivating study of hands, rendered with remarkable detail and tenderness. The hands are meant to intertwine to a woman, though the rest of her silhouette remains hidden from view, and there's an undeniable allure in the way they're situated that implies a blend of resilience and delicacy. What do you do for a living? I inquire. Absolutely. She relocates to shift one of the easels. Not exactly. Locking eyes with me. I rarely reveal my intimate narratives. The next canvas unveils a landscape, yet it strays from the ordinary picturesque perspective. This scene portrays a gritty industrial landscape bathed in the warm hues of sunset. The stark edges of structures and equipment were gently blurred by radiant glow until they transform into something truly captivating. It's the kind of theme that many creators might ignore, yet she has discovered beauty in the everyday. These are truly extraordinary. I declare, with sincerity, you possess a distinctive viewpoint. Thank you so much. She appears truly delighted by the praise, and I come to understand that even though, despite her affluence and clear achievements, she yearns for artistic recognition just like any other artist. Shall we begin? She asked, her voice soft yet inviting, gestures toward a raised platform in the center of the room. It is, enveloped in reflections and illumination, unmistakably crafted for showcasing form. What do you want me to do? Just stay here, effortlessly for now. Allow me to observe how the light dances upon your silhouette. I move onto the platform, suddenly conscious of the vulnerability I experience. Even though I am completely covered, she glides around me with a deliberate grace, examining me from every perspective. And it's hard to overlook how her eyes seem to map every curve and contour of me. Shift a bit to your left, she guides, her voice adopting a polished and confident demeanor. Perfect. Now, raise your chin just a little. She guides me gently, her words clear yet always inviting. When she feels content with grace, she glides to the easel set a few feet away, her fingers wrapping around a piece of charcoal. Stay right there for a moment, she whispers softly. We'll take breaks every 20 minutes or so. I expect her to begin sketching immediately, but instead, she hesitated, her thoughts drifting elsewhere, keeps her gaze on me, the charcoal resting lightly between her fingers. The quiet lingers in the air, interrupted solely by the faint hum of vehicles echoing from the streets below. You seem so calm, she notes after a few moments. I'm working on becoming a... You're doing great. Take it easy, she replies, her voice carrying a soothing warmth. I'm not creating anything just yet. I'm simply discovering you, discovering me. The words send an unexpected thrill coursing through my veins. I attempt to concentrate on grasping the pose, yet her presence is unmistakably felt. The way she glides across the platform, an elegant force observing its target. As she steps closer to the easel, I anticipate the soft sound of charcoal gliding across the paper instead. I can hear her. Footsteps draw nearer, and suddenly, she's right in front of me. The illumination feels off, she whispers, gently brushing against my skin. May I? I nod, unable to find my voice. And her touch grazes my cheek as she gently tilts my head. Her touch is refreshing. It's polished, yet it ignites a fire that courses through every part of me. She takes a step back to explore the connection, then draws nearer. Once more, she murmurs, her hand lingering close to my collarbone. The atmosphere is charged with intensity. This time, when she touches me, her fingers linger along my shoulder, gently easing the weight I hadn't known I was holding. The gesture is deeply personal. Despite its seemingly pure nature, I find myself striving to maintain a calm breath. Improved, she remarks, taking a step back. Once more. Yet, rather than going back to her canvas, she keeps orbiting around me, her fingers making subtle tweaks in the air. A gentle caress on my arm, fingers gliding down my spine to align my posture, her hand momentarily resting against my hip to move. What are you drawing, my love? I inquire, filled with longing to shatter the heavy stillness, light and shadow. She responds, her tone gentle, more than ever. The way your form carves out soft curves and sharp angles, the spaces where light dances and shadows linger, comes together. Her words awaken a new awareness of my own body, stirring feelings I've never felt before. I am capable. Experience the gentle embrace of the lights against my skin, the way the fabric of my dress hugs my curves and gracefully drapes away from others. As she starts to create, the soft murmur of charcoal fills the air against paper, yet her movements surprise me in ways I hadn't anticipated. Rather than the swift, determined movements I connected with drawing, her movements are gentle, intentional, almost tender. Can I speak during this? I inquire, following yet another extended pause. Absolutely. I'm eager to learn more about you. Truly, what inspired your passion for creativity? I share with her the memories of my youth. The moments when I found solace in painting as a means of expression, a feeling of existing in a space that always seemed just out of reach. She listens intently, her questions reflecting a deep understanding, inquiries that reveal her true curiosity about my responses. What about you? I inquire about the conclusion of my tale. When did you begin your journey with painting? She remained silent for, it felt like an eternity, leaving me to question if she even caught my words. When she finally finds her voice, her voice held a depth that resonated within me, unlike anything I had experienced prior. I've been enveloped in creativity her whole existence, she claims. My family gathered, yet they never crafted. I began to express myself through painting, perhaps as a form of defiance, an opportunity to engage instead of merely watching. And at this moment, I truly do both. I gather the things that resonate with me and craft what feels absent in the world around me. The session unfolds over almost 2 hours, interspersed with breaks that give me the chance to stretch and wander around the studio. As I take my place once more, her stance radiates assurance, and her caress grows intentional. As she declares us done for the day, I sense that I've been traced by her hands instead of merely outlined by her charcoal. Same time next week, she inquires, wiping her hands with the cloth that carries the scent of turpentine. Absolutely, I reply, astonished by the excitement that's already building within me. As I get ready to go, she halts me with a gentle touch on my embrace, sage. Her fingers radiate warmth, gently brushing against the fabric of my dress. You're welcome. This was precisely what I dreamed it would be. I stroll home, the warmth of her caress still echoing on my skin. Already, eagerly anticipating the arrival of Saturday. The atmosphere shifts as soon as I exit the elevator, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. Artesia welcomes me with a glass of wine, breaking the usual formal barriers. A deep crimson that feels luxurious and enhances the evening. The afternoon light streaming through her windows felt inviting and intimate. I thought we could explore a more laid-back approach. Today, she says, settling into a chair across from me in her living area, instead of heading directly to the kitchen. Studio, share with me the details of your most recent creation. I find myself recounting the mural I've been grappling with, the one about liberating oneself from the burdens of financial constraints. As I speak, she absorbs every word with an intensity that feels electric, intense connection that makes me feel like my voice truly resonates. Her inquiries are thought-provoking, urging me to reflect on my creations in perspectives I never imagined. With a brush dipped in fury, you create, while she watches, swirling her wine thoughtfully. However, there exists yearning beneath it. That's quite uncommon. What are you trying to say? Many creators express their struggles through their art, as though it will last forever. You depict yours as if it's fleeting, something to be transcended rather than indulged in. The unexpected gaze takes me by surprise. I never considered my work from that perspective. But she has a point. Even my most shadowy fragments hold hints that a new beginning is on the horizon. Is that a positive or negative thing? It is truthful, she expresses, and the term resonates like a treasure. As we finally step into the studio, a palpable change fills the air. The initial professional boundaries we established have gradually transformed into a deeper, more personal connection, fostering a sense of collaboration between us. Her positions me with the same careful attention, but now her touches feel more intimate and deeply personal. I desire to, let's explore something new today, she suggests, arranging a canvas on an easel just within my view, allowing me to catch glimpses of her artistry as she brings it to life. Rather than charcoal, I'll opt for paint instead. It means I'll have to pick up the pace, but the outcome will be more colorful. She starts with sweeping gestures, outlining the essential contours of my figure using hues that don't align with truth. Where my dress is blue, she adorns her canvas with rich purples and vibrant magentas. Where my skin meets her palette dances with warm hues, casting a radiant glow that envelops me on the canvas. You're not capturing the essence of what lies before you, I noted during one of our moments together. I'm capturing the emotions that wash over me when I see you, she replies. And the revelation lingers in the space between us, heavy and charged. The third meeting comes with an unforeseen. The storm unleashes its fury, casting a shadow over the afternoon. Rain beats relentlessly against the expansive windows, crafting a sanctuary of closeness in the studio. A space that feels distinct from everything outside. We could always find another time, Armesia offers when I arrive, but I shake my head. Something about the storm makes me want to stay. To be here in this moment, enveloped in the warmth of her presence, this electric ambiance with her. She's placed candles all around the studio, their soft light enhancing the mood. The ambiance created by the professional lighting casts enchanting shadows that dance across the walls. It evokes a sense of romance, transcending mere practicality. And I wonder if she realizes the effect she has on me. The tempest alters everything, she whispers, her gaze fixed on me as I find my place on the stage. The ambiance, the energy, the way you carry yourself. She's correct. I sense a change within me. Today, more vibrant somehow, as if the energy in the atmosphere has stirred something within me that has long been dormant. As she starts her work, her movements become more graceful, more intense than I've ever witnessed. You radiate beauty when you're like this, she says softly, her gaze fixed on her canvas. Like what? Vulnerable. Often, you present yourself as if you're bracing for a confrontation that may never happen. The precision of her insight leaves me in awe. My upbringing in foster care has shown me to always be alert, always be poised for the instant when security might be snatched away. But here in her studio with the rain tapping softly on the windows, a sense of safety envelops me like a warm embrace. How do you feel about it? I inquire. What? Do you enjoy those moments when you're completely open? She halts her painting, her brush lingering midair between the palette and canvas. I'm uncertain. It's been ages since I've granted myself that indulgence. Why? It's simpler to hold on to control than to embrace vulnerability. Knowing what to expect feels safer than forging genuine connections. There's an undeniable honesty in her confession, a fleeting look beyond the polished exterior she shows to everyone. I feel compelled to inquire more, to grasp what led her to construct such intricate barriers around her heart. But she returns to her painting with a fresh intensity. Stay still, she instructs, but the tone feels softer than usual. Instead, it carries a sense of yearning, as if my silence is the only thing, ensuring she remains anchored in a place of comfort. As the weeks unfold, our encounters transform into something that goes beyond the initial setup. We share our thoughts on creativity, explore the essence of existence, and delve into our aspirations and anxieties, and the gaps that lingered in the air. She came into her fortune, yet she decided to forge her own path through hard work, creating her collection from nothing, for she yearned to craft something that belonged solely to her. She discovers that my art flows from a deep necessity within me. The visions swirling in my mind yearn for liberation, or they will devour me whole. We uncover a deep fascination with illumination, with how it has the power to turn the ordinary into something enchanting. The encounters go deeper. The moment arrived, yet neither of us spoke of it. 3 hours stretch into 4, then 5, as if we're both hesitant to disrupt the magic that envelops us when we find ourselves in her studio, just the two of us. I eagerly anticipate. On a Saturday, she confesses one afternoon while guiding me to the elevator. More than I ought to. What does that signify? It signifies the situation is evolving in ways I never expected. Her sincerity fills me with both fear and excitement. I've been experiencing those same emotions. The manner in which our careers, our connection has started to soften at the boundaries, evolving into something that remains unspoken between us. Today has a unique vibe compared to the instant I step in. There's an energy in the air that has nothing to do with the weather and everything to do with the connection between two souls. Path. Artemisia gazes at me as she swings the door open. Her typical calm welcome is overshadowed by an unexpected emotion. Breathless, nearly yearning, I want to explore something different today, she says as we step into the studio. A deeper connection. My heart races at the thought of closeness. Yet I agree, placing my faith in her. Ways that should likely instill fear in me rather than guiding me to the platform. She guides me to another part of an intimate space featuring a solitary chair, illuminated by gentle, warm light. Take a seat, she says, and I settle into the chair, acutely aware of her presence as she moves around me. I'm going to paint you, she says, but not on canvas. Before I can inquire about her intentions, she finds herself kneeling next to my chair, armed with a collection of skin-friendly paints and an array of delicate brushes. On you, she whispered, her voice soft and inviting. Explained softly, her voice just above a whisper. On me, body painting is a timeless expression, she explains, though her detached demeanor contrasts sharply with the fire in her gaze. The human form transforms into a beautiful expression of art and emotion. Her dips a brush in golden paint and glances at me, seeking my approval. As I give a slight nod, she gently glides a brush along my arm. Just above she takes my wrist and starts to weave intricate vines that curl around my forearm, resembling a beautiful, living adornment. The feeling is unparalleled. Anything I've ever felt. The brush glides gently over my skin, yet it's the intensity in her gaze, the way her breath hitches as she draws near, igniting a spark within me that awakens every part of my being. Every touch is intentional, filled with significance, as if she's crafting a hidden note in a dialect known only to us. Comprehend. Gorgeous, she whispers, weaving delicate blooms into the tendrils she's crafted. Her fingers graze my skin while she examines her hand, and I find myself concentrating on maintaining a steady breath. Her shifts to my other arm, crafting a harmonious pattern that reflects the initial one, yet with delicate variations that craft it to stand out in its own special way. The paint starts off cool, but soon it warms against my skin, merging with me instead of just sitting on the surface. Just embellishment. Now it's your turn, she says as she finishes with my arms, presenting me with a brush filled with shimmering silver paint. What should I create on my canvas? Whatever touches your heart. I grasp the brush with quivering hands, inching closer to her, pausing just before our connection. She nods, a silent affirmation, and I let the brush glide over her collarbone, creating a solitary star that radiates warmth upon her skin. More, she breathes softly, and I respond. Another star, then another, forming a constellation that journeys from her collarbone to her shoulder. She gently shuts. Her gaze lingers on me as I focus, the rhythm of her breath calm and unwavering, and I can't help but notice the delicate vulnerability she exudes in this instant. As we complete our creation, we linger in quietude, appreciating the beauty of our shared masterpiece. The vibrant hues envelop us entirely, transforming us into timeless deities or enchanting beings rather than just landlady and tenant. Sage, she utters my name as if it holds a secret, a promise, a connection that lingers in the air between us, a whispered wish, and as I lift my gaze, her features are nearer than they've ever been. I can see glimmers of warmth in her gray eyes. The warmth radiates from her skin, enveloping me in a comforting embrace. We lean toward each other at the same moment, pulled by an undeniable attraction that neither of us can escape. My heart beats so strongly, I'm convinced she can sense it. Her hand rises to brush my cheek, her thumb following the curve of my jaw. We really shouldn't, she whispers, yet she remains close, not pulling away. I understand. I inhale deeply, yet I find myself leaning closer to her, my eyelids gently falling shut. Just as our lips are about to connect, she pulls away suddenly, as if startled by a flame. The enchantment shatters in an instant, leaving me feeling emotionally distant in the absence of her embrace. This was a mistake, she declares, rising suddenly and creating space between them. Her voice cuts through the air, crisp and businesslike, a stark contrast to the closeness we've just experienced. Artemisia, please reconsider. She glides toward the sink, her hands dancing under the water as she washes away the paint with a practiced grace. This connection should maintain a sense of professionalism. I allowed the situation to escalate beyond my control. I gaze at her, struggling to understand the unexpected change in her attitude. Just moments before, she was adorning my skin with stars, as if she were claiming me as her own. Now she avoids my gaze completely. What just occurred? Nothing. It occurred, she states with conviction, wiping her hands on a towel, and nothing will transpire. Your purpose is to showcase your beauty. I've arrived to express love. That's everything. There's no way to deny the connection between us. Experience what? Her voice is cold as winter's breath. Yet, I notice the slight shake in her hands as she tidies her brushes. This bond we share, the way your gaze lingers on me, the gentle brush of your fingers, the secrets you've shared with me. You're confusing professional curiosity for something more intimate. I take responsibility for not being clear about the limits. Her words resonated. I enjoy the thrill of physical encounters. I wish to emphasize the importance of professional interest. Doesn't include creating constellations on someone's skin or enjoying wine and deep conversations. But the wall, the barrier between us feels unbreakable. I believe our time together has come to an end for today. She continues, not locking my gaze. I'll ensure your payment is sent over just like always. I cleanse the colors from my embrace in her studio sink, observing the golden vines spiral away like shattered aspirations. When I'm quietly, I collect my belongings, wishing she would say something to shed light on her feelings. Unexpected chill. She doesn't stop at the elevator. She passes me an envelope, careful not to let our fingers brush against each other. At the same moment, next week, she says, her voice steady, as if the world around us remains untouched. But in truth, everything has shifted. And as the elevator ascends, I feel the weight of unspoken words between us. As I step away from her penthouse, an unsettling sensation lingers within me, as if I've lost something invaluable before I even had the chance to truly grasp it. Canvas for my emotions. Each stroke reflects the turmoil within me, a vibrant expression of what I can't quite articulate. The colors clash and blend, mirroring the chaos of my thoughts as I try to make sense of everything that happened. In a tumultuous realm of hues and textures, I pour my heart into each creation, reflecting the whirlwind of feelings that Artmisha's rejection ignited within me. Within me, fury spills over in deep, passionate hues of crimson and ebony. Uncertainty swirls in deep, rich hues of brown and gray. The pain reveals itself through sharp, piercing tears of blue that seem to pour directly from my heart onto the canvas. Each brushstroke feels like a quiet act of defiance. Against the enchantment she wove around my heart, how could I have been so blind to believe that what we shared held a significance for her that transcended mere business? I replay every moment of our encounters, seeking clues I might have misunderstood. Yet, I am certain of what I experienced. The spark between us was authentic, despite her efforts to act differently. By Thursday, I've crafted 7 new pieces and produced a choice that fills me with both fear and freedom. I'm ready to search for a new place to call home. I can't keep living like this. Arrangement. I can't remain in her studio acting like I'm not impacted while she regards me as if I'm just a worker. I've faced enough rejection to sense when someone is building barriers to keep me at a distance. I begin to explore. Searching through rental listings online, I find that everything within my budget makes my current home seem like a grand estate. The thought of departing from my haven, my true sanctuary, fills me with a profound sense of sorrow. Yet remaining here means enduring constant reminders of my own naivety, and I hold my head high with more pride than that. Saturday approaches like an inevitable reckoning. I think about not going, but the income from these sessions is the only thing that keeps me stable financially. I'll tolerate another encounter as I devise my escape plan. A warm smile welcomes me at her door with the same courteous demeanor she's always displayed. As if the events of last week were merely a fleeting memory. She's dressed impeccably as usual, her gray eyes concealing any hint of her thoughts or emotions. "Good afternoon, Sage," she says, moving aside to welcome me in. I hope you're prepared to dive into this. The reality of work crashes down on me. After weeks filled with deep, personal exchanges and shared wine, after the trust I built with her and the vulnerability I revealed, she's diminished our bond to mere obligation. Absolutely, I respond, mirroring her composed demeanor. That's my purpose here. The studio feels different today. It's sterile and unwelcoming, even with the beautiful art surrounding us. She guides me to the platform with sharp precision, arranging me as if I were an object rather than a person. Her touches, when needed, are fleeting and detached. Maintain that stance. Guidance, approaching her easel with a deliberate grace. The time drifts by in a heavy quiet. I hold on to my position while she works, but I can sense the chasm she's built between us, almost tangible. The days of thoughtful inquiries about my creations, the tender support, the feeling that she perceives me as more than merely an object to be captured. When our 2 hours are up, she sets down her brush with a sense of relief washing over her. "Thank you for sharing this time with me today," she says, handing me an envelope while avoiding my gaze. "Is that all? What do you mean? No wine, no conversation, no attempt at basic human courtesy?" My jaw tightens just a bit. I thought I was being polite. "You seem distant. I was just doing my job. Wasn't I?" I slipped the envelope into my bag without a glance, as if acknowledging our shared humanity was too much to bear. "Building bonds, Sage." Her tone holds a caution that I decide to overlook. "What transpired last week?" I continue, my frustration finally breaking free. "That wasn't just a matter of professional curiosity, and you know it. What transpired last week was a fleeting misstep that will not happen again. The detached manner in which she overlooks what we experienced sparks a fire within me, a moment of weakness. Is that what you term it when you create galaxies on their skin, gazing at them as if they are the sole star in the universe? World, you're idealizing a straightforward creative endeavor. Am I? I move in closer to her, feeling a rush of satisfaction as she takes a nearly undetectable step back. So why are your hands trembling at this moment? She looks down at her shaking fingers, then clenches them into tight fists at her sides. You're confusing being close in space with being close in heart. It's a frequent misunderstanding. Her words are meant to pierce and they triumph. The condescending tone, the way she makes me feel naive for having faith in something genuine resurfaces. Every moment of rejection I've ever faced. You're afraid? I whisper. Pardon me? You heard me? You're a coward who conceals herself with wealth and power, too frightened to reveal her true self. The facade she wears briefly falters, exposing a glimpse of hurt that she swiftly masks. I believe this exchange has reached its conclusion. Indeed, it has. I make my way to the elevator. Then, I pivot to deliver my last strike. And thus, our agreement comes to an end. Seek out another muse. The elevator doors shut behind me, on her astonished face. I come to understand that I've just turned my back on the only reliable source of income I possess. Yet, as I move down, as I make my way towards the street, a sense of lightness envelops me, something I haven't felt in weeks. Just 3 days later, a call comes in that shifts my entire world. Sage, delicate, the voice on the other end is smooth, confident. This is Miranda. Shun from the Whitmore Gallery reached out. I was taken aback, my heart racing at the thought of discussing the possibility of showcasing your work. I could hardly believe it. The Whitmore Gallery stands as a beacon of prestige in the city, a space where dreams can blossom and futures can be forged. Overnight, I apologize. How did you come across my name? A collector delivered your work to. We're excited to announce that next month we'll be hosting a group exhibition showcasing the talents of emerging artists, and we would be thrilled to feature 3 of them. Of your creations, the dialogue feels almost dreamlike. In just an hour, I find myself at the gallery meeting with Miranda and her team, observing them appreciate my paintings with a depth of admiration I've only envisioned. They choose 3 pieces from my latest collection, including one of the fierce artworks I produced following my struggle with Artemisia. These are intense, Miranda observes, examining the canvas where crimson and ebony hues appear to twist with barely contained passion. There's so much intense feeling here. The collector was especially captivated by your vibrant use of color to express emotion. Which collector? I inquire, though a part of me already knows the answer. I'm afraid we must keep our clients' details private, but I can share that they have an undeniable flair and a remarkable impact on the artistic scene. The night of the exhibition comes upon me quicker than I stand in the gallery, adorned in the only dress I possess that suits this occasion. Observing the elegantly dressed, individuals scrutinize my creations, wine glasses delicately held in their grasp. It's all that I've ever desired. And yet, there's an emptiness that lingers in the air. Well done, a voice whispers softly from behind me, and I turn to find Artemisia approaching with 2 glasses of champagne. She radiated sophistication, accentuating her graceful neck. The way she carried herself was magnetic, drawing attention effortlessly. Her presence was captivating, leaving a lasting impression on everyone around her. Displays the elegant curve of her neck. What brings you here? Encouraging new talents, she says effortlessly, handing me one of the glasses. It's my thing. I decline the champagne. You hold the treasures of the heart. I mentioned that I gather what stirs my emotions. You made this happen. The realization strikes me with an intensity I can't ignore. You're the reason I exist in this moment. Your brilliance is what brought you to this moment. I merely opened the door. Eyes are beginning to linger on us, captivated by the undeniable electricity sparking between us. I soften my tone, yet my words are sharp enough to cut glass. How could you betray my trust and interfere with my career without my knowledge? As you push the door open and step inside, I can't help but recall how I clearly expressed my desire for independence. Yet, here you are, seeking to be a part of my journey. Despite my wishes, had ties. It made sense. Her serene composure amidst my frustration only intensifies my frustration. This isn't about reason. This is about power. You couldn't control what unfolded between us, so you discovered another method to manipulate my emotions. You're being theatrical. Am I? I gesture toward my paintings displayed on the gallery walls. Or is this the first time I'm truly seeing things as they are? Before she can reply, I catch the sound of my name being called by a cluster of visitors gathered around my most significant work. I shift nearer, feigning interest in a nearby sculpture while trying to catch snippets of their dialogue. The method is fascinating, one woman remarks, but let's face it, Kang's latest breakthrough is solely due to her network. Absolutely, her partner concurs. Without Artesia's support, this girl would still be creating in the shadows. Overheard she was living under Kane's roof. A third voice chimes in with a hint of laughter. Speak. About intertwining work and desire. Their laughter courses through me like a potent elixir. Every apprehension I've ever harbored about embracing support, realizing that my achievements aren't solely a result of my own efforts, becomes clear in this moment. I've transformed exactly what I promised. I'd never become someone whose accomplishments are linked to their connections instead of what they can do. I turned to find Armisia watching me with an unreadable expression. She heard the conversation. 2. I realize she knows exactly how their words just shattered my heart. Sage. She begins to approach me. But she raised a hand to halt her. Don't. Those individuals have no idea what they're saying. Do they? I glance around in the gallery. I observe the crowd, curious about how many are present for the true admiration of my creations versus how many came because Artemisia Kane invited them. How am I supposed to discern if any of this is genuine? Your gift is real, but everything else feels like a distant dream. The truth envelops me, a weighty shroud that I can't shake off. My success, my opportunities, my place in this world, all of it is intertwined with you. But is that really the truth? I encounter her eyes, and for a moment, I catch a glimpse of something that could be regret dancing in their gray depths. Even as I attempt to walk away, you discovered yet another method to manipulate me. I placed my untouched champagne glass on a nearby table and made my way toward the exit. Behind me, I hear her voice softly calling my name, yet I remain still. The thought of facing her, knowing the weight of the truth between us, feels unbearable. Between us, outside, the cool night air brushes against my skin. A whisper of liberation. I turned my back on the most significant chance of my life. Yet, for the first time in weeks, I feel a sense of relief. My art may be displayed in a renowned gallery, but its presence there is thanks to another's impact. And until I can find fulfillment in my own way, and none of it holds any significance whatsoever, I don't step outside my apartment for 3 days following the gallery opening. I immerse myself in painting, pouring my heart into creation after creation that reflects the intense feelings swirling within me. Canvases adorn every images of tempest and shattered bonds, with women stepping away from their gilded prisons. My phone buzzes incessantly, but I brush it off. Miranda from the gallery, mysterious numbers that could belong to collectors, even my handful of friends who somehow heard about my moment in the spotlight. On the 4th morning, I find a package outside my door. Inside the envelope holds secrets, important papers, and a personal message. My heart races as I take in the words of the deed. The document signifies my rightful ownership of the apartment. The message is concise, penned in Artemisia's graceful handwriting. Your creativity deserves to shine independently. So do you. Think of this as a form of appreciation for showing me that certain moments are beyond our grasp. I drown onto my couch, gazing at the papers that symbolize all my deepest desires. Genuine freedom, a place that is truly meant for me, not out of pity or deceit, but because there is a genuine connection, feels I am worthy of it. The act is so surprising, so different from the dominating actions I claimed she exhibited. It compels me to rethink all that I believed I knew. Artemisia didn't give me this apartment to control me. She offered it to me to set me free. For the first time since our confrontation, I allow myself to truly reflect on her actions, her words, the fear I glimpsed behind her composed facade. Her harshest remarks followed moments of sincerity, exposing her vulnerability as though she were punishing herself for allowing me to glimpse beyond her defenses. The way she influenced my career, though misdirected, stemmed from a desire to support rather than dominate. She feels fear of intimacy, fearful of abandonment, anxious about relying on someone who may not feel the same way. I see the cycle clearly because it's been my reality, it upon myself, pushing others away before they have the chance to leave me. Yet rather than constructing barriers, I've discovered the strength to embrace challenges. I dedicate the following week to crafting a singular piece of art, infusing every bit of talent and feeling I have into the canvas. It's a study of hands reminiscent of one I encountered in her private collection. But these hands stretch out, yearning for something just beyond the edges of the canvas. They are depicted through the artist's eyes, revealing what the creator perceives when gazing at their muse. It's raw and yearning and exhilarating. Every emotion I experienced throughout our time together comes to an end. Once it's done, I gently wrap it up and head over to her place. The doorman acknowledges my presence and gestures for me to join her in the elevator without hesitation. My heart races as I ascend to her luxurious abode, the painting held tightly against my heart. She swings the door open before my hand can even reach the surface. It's as if she has been waiting for this moment. She appears on the security cameras, clad in jeans and an oversized sweater, exuding a casual yet captivating charm. Her hair cascades around her shoulders, and there's a youthful glow about her, a softness that makes her seem less guarded than I've ever known. Sage, that's my name, flows like a whispered secret. I have a gift for you. I present the wrapped canvas. Can I enter? She moves aside, inviting me in. Silently, I step into the place that was once a refuge and later turned into a war zone. Today it feels like a safe haven, a space where we could finally lay our truths bare. I received your gift, I say, placing the painting against the wall. The apartment. It was always yours. I just made it official. Why? She moves to the windows frame the sprawling city beneath us. You were right about it all. I am afraid. I do retreat. Behind power and influence, I've dedicated countless years to safeguarding my heart that I've lost the ability to open up to anyone else. Armsia, you filled me with fear since the instant you swung open your apartment door, she goes on, her gaze averted from mine. Overwhelmed by the emotions you stir within me, grappling with the desires I've told myself I shouldn't have. What desires? Connection, partnership, affection. The final word escapes my lips softly, almost as if it's a secret. I convinced myself that I was supporting your ambitions, but deep down, I was searching for another way to be indispensable to you because if you needed me, perhaps that would keep you here. Her truth shatters something deep within. My heart races. I step closer to her at the window, just within reach, yet not quite touching. I wasn't going to leave because I didn't need you, I say softly. I was going to leave because I thought you didn't want me. She turns to face me then, and I see tears threatening in her gray eyes. I want you more than I've ever desired anything. That's what frightens me. Why? Because everyone, eventually, they depart, and as they go, they carry fragments of you away, until all that remains are the empty walls you've constructed to safeguard what is left. I realize now that her refusal had nothing to do with me. It was about a journey filled with heartache, discovering that deep affection can result in profound sorrow, hurt. Some individuals walk away. I understand. Yet, some choose to remain. Some choose to battle for what resonates with them. How can you discern your true essence? Rather than responding verbally, I reveal the artwork and turn it toward her. She gazes at it for an extended moment, absorbing every stroke, every detail I've poured onto the canvas. It's beautiful, she whispers. It's how you see me. How? You've always recognized me, even in moments when I was blind to it. I inhale deeply, summoning my strength. I'm the type of someone who remains, Artemisia, even in fear, even through pain, especially. Then she extends her hand toward the painting, yearning to make contact, but hesitates, herself. I find myself at a loss. How does one open up without knowing what lies ahead? I feel the same way, but perhaps we can navigate this journey side by side. She gazes at me then, her face a canvas of hope and trepidation that captivates. My breath away. What are you implying? That we begin anew, no landlady and two souls, not defined by roles or expectations, just individuals who cherish one another, striving to create something genuine together. What would that be like? I'm not sure yet, but I'm eager to discover. I inch closer to her, close enough to see the shimmer of warmth in her gaze. If you're open to take the risk. For a moment, I think she might pull away again. Then she reaches up and cradles my face in her hands, her touch soft and confident. I'm ready, she whispers, and then our lips meet. Boom. Every kiss in the studio is a blend of softness and intensity, a culmination of months of unspoken feelings waiting to be unleashed, filled with yearning as we finally separate. Our breaths come in quick bursts, our foreheads pressed together. I'm sorry, she whispers, for everything, for escaping, for shaping your path, for instilling uncertainty within you. I apologize as well, for leaving, for not believing in what we had, for being too proud to recognize that your actions stemmed from fear rather than ill intent. Half a year has passed, and here I am, back in the studio where it all started. Yet now, it's my hands that are stained with color, and a canvas on the easel. Artemisia sits in the chair where I once posed, draped in a delicate silk robe that catches the warm glow of the afternoon light filtering through the windows. Are you feeling at ease? I inquire, shifting the angle just right. In her stance, a mix of fear and amusement, she confesses with a chuckle. Yet, there's a sense of ease. It's been a journey. It took us a long time to arrive here, a journey filled with delicate discussions and gentle caresses, as we discovered the depths of trust between us, one another, and our own feelings. We've journeyed through the shift from our imbalanced connection to something, navigating our connection. With a surprising ease, I've held on to the apartment, and now I contribute to the rent. It feels right. the value we both agreed upon as a testament to our shared worth. My creativity has discovered its audience through my own efforts, with Artemisia thoughtfully remaining distant from my career unless I specifically seek her guidance. The exhibition opens doors to new possibilities, genuine ones achieved through skill instead. Then there were the connections. I've had 2 more exhibitions and sold enough pieces to. I found a way to support myself comfortably, and even began teaching painting classes at a community center. A new chapter has begun, revealing her creations to the world after a long time. The intimate pieces she once concealed are now included in a solo exhibition that opens next month. She's filled with a mix of fear and excitement, finally prepared to share her truth with the world, see her true essence. You're overthinking it, she notes from her stance. I can see it in your eyes. I'm reflecting on our journey together. Do you have any regrets? I reflect on the question deeply. The journey that led us to this moment was fraught with challenges and intricacies, laden with navigate through the misunderstandings and the hurt feelings. Yet, it was essential for us. We both had to pause before we could mend. No, I immerse my brush in color and start to create, not each stroke. With every color, I reveal the depth of our connection, the unspoken bond that ties us together. Her eyes reveal a softness, a willingness to embrace vulnerability without any defenses. This artwork will never be displayed in a gallery or sold to a collector. It's simply for us, a testament to this moment when we decided to see each other clearly. When the session ends, we tidy up side by side, our movements in perfect harmony from months of practice. The apartment that once belonged solely to her has transformed into a shared space in every meaningful way. My canvases, harmony, each piece telling a story of passion and connection. The vibrant colors and intricate details, invite the viewer to explore the depths of emotion captured within. Serenity. The lights twinkle like stars scattered across the skyline. We nestle on the couch, coffee cups in hand, discussing what to make for dinner and sharing our individual endeavors. It's remarkable in the most delightful way. This life we've created side by side, 2 souls who discovered that love cannot be contained or manipulated, but must flow freely, given and received. 2 creators who realize that the most exquisite masterpiece of all is a bond forged on trust, vulnerability, and the bravery it takes to remain when it feels difficult. In the softening dusk envelops us. Our shared creations shimmer on the walls, a celebration of what unfolds when 2 souls decide to build something beautiful together rather than seeking to own one another.